This weekend was a big reminder of a lot of things that I've been working for and a lot of things that I've been missing out on. This weekend was a pretty busy weekend for me. It was Butler's homecoming, so a lot of people were back in town, but also I had just a busy week of work. Sectional football on Friday, and then college football, and my first ever Pacers game on Saturday. Both of those nights I ended by going back to Butler and staying with my friends who I lived with last year, the 6 girls, if you remember. And I realized this weekend several things. The past several months, I've been spending a lot of time by myself and in this apartment on my own, or going out and working. And it's a frustrating mix because one, I'm working and that's good, and I'm making money and that's good, but I'm missing some things. I'm just living here, kind of feels like I'm like wasting away in a way. I'm just on my own, watching videos, playing video games. Like, what am I doing? But it's because I'm working towards something. I'm trying to strive to get better. I'm trying to reach the top tier, the top level of professional sports. And this weekend, I was finally able to do that when I worked my first Pacers game, Pacers versus Pistons. Now, I was shadowing the camera person for the first half, but then I was doing camera the second half, and I was the fan cam, so the person that you see running up and down the stands and filming people and filming the MC and stuff. That was me. And it was fun. Very, very fun. And honestly, it kind of did remind me of like what I'm doing, why I'm spending all this time working, and just, I'm not really wasting away. I'm doing productive things and working towards a direction. But I ended both of these nights, Friday and Saturday, by going to Butler, as I mentioned. And this is another thing that really hit home with me, because I knew this weekend was coming up and I knew my friends were coming back to town, and I was honestly getting pretty excited about it. But like a different kind of excited that I haven't felt before. It was more mature. It was the first time that all of us are getting back together since graduation. It's really kind of our first reunion, if you will, since graduating college. And it's just a different moment because of that. And we've matured in different ways, and we're starting to really start our own lives, you know? It's not as much, oh, we're figuring out school. It's like we're really grown up. Kind of. So it felt different, and I just felt really grateful to be able to be around my friends and share time with them. And we didn't do anything crazy or anything wild, although Saturday night we did pack all 7 of us into my car and drive back, and that was kind of a journey. But we didn't do anything crazy. We kind of just caught up and spent time like we did in the good old days or whatever, you know? And that was maybe the best thing we could have done. I just enjoyed the shared time so much. Even, obviously, I have different varying levels of relationships with all of them, and it was good to see everybody the same amount, because we won't get to see each other that often anymore, so you gotta cherish it when you have it. Somehow, though, despite being with 6 girls, one of them did not come up with the idea to film, or to at least take a picture of all of us. So we didn't even really capture the moment, which was a missed opportunity, but it was good to see them nonetheless, and it kind of just reminded me that while I am working and spending all this time, and I am working to a direction, I'm working professional events now, that's pretty neat, I gotta still enjoy life, and there's a bigger picture than just work. Now, we have a special interview with a featured guest from my house, who I hung out with this weekend, and is also very heavily involved in this similar situation that I am. Sophie McGill. Now, to Matthew and Sophie. We're here now with highly esteemed and professional guest Sophie McGill. Kind of carrying on the message of the episode, talking about this weekend. We spent some of this weekend together, but also this weekend was Butler's homecoming. And for me, it was really the first time that I've really seen a lot of our friends. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like since we graduated, my perspective on like my friends and whatever has changed a little bit, and I feel like it's gotten a little more mature because we're not gonna see each other as often. So it's just a little more unique, I think, when we come together. And this is really like our first reunion since graduation. So I guess really, like, what did you make of the weekend? What was it like seeing all your friends again? I know you've seen a few of them since graduation, but what like, did you share that sentiment? What did you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was also really nice just to be back on Butler's campus. And I obviously rented an Airbnb with the girls specifically so that we could spend time together.
And just like a block or 2 off campus.
Yeah. But it was also really nice to get to see everybody else that
the extended community.
Yeah, that I hadn't necessarily gone there to see, but I was still I really love these people and these people are really important to me.
What are some examples? Like people in our class, or like people that still go to Butler?
People that still go to Butler.
Okay.
So current seniors that I either worked with, had class with, did college mentors with, all of those people, MDGs to all the underclassmen.
Sisters.
Yes, they are. It's not 4 years, it's for life.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I didn't feel as weird being on campus as I thought I would. I was kind of nervous being like, I've graduated. Is it going to be weird being back here? But just felt like it always did, which I think was a nice surprise.
Yeah. Have you do you also think that feel like our I guess it's only been a few months, so it's hard to say we've matured a bunch, but I feel like just my perspective has changed a lot. Do you think so as well? Do you think you have changed on because I like I said, I really enjoyed seeing our friends, and we just don't see each other as much, and also we're on our own life journeys now. We're not as much trudging through the fog. I mean, we are, because I have no idea what I'm doing with my life still, but in school, you're really you're students. You're grinding it out. Now we're all adults. One of our friends is engaged to be married. Another one, several others are sneaking into that territory. A lot of things going on, but we're still on our different paths. I don't know.
I think it was hard accepting when I'm never gonna be in the same place as anyone else ever again. And it's really easy to play the comparison game of Erin's in grad school and we went to the same major for undergrad, but I'm not going to grad school because it's not what I want to do. Yeah. But there's a little part in the back of my brain that's what if you were in grad school? But I think it's also nice and it's a refreshing change because I feel like I'm in the same place as you. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life, but I think living at home, it's kind of nice to slow down because so much of senior year was just, oh my God, figure it out. What are you doing? Where are you going?
Yeah.
You have to do everything because it's your last year, and if you miss one thing,
seemed like you had to have your whole life planned out by graduation. If you didn't, you were somehow behind the curve or behind the ball or whatever. Yeah.
But I also think I worked at a summer camp over the summer in the middle of the woods. I think that was nice too. Just
out in the bush.
Yeah. No service, no Wi-Fi. Just get away from everyone and be like, okay, what do I actually want, and not what am I thinking that other people want from me.
So for you, what was the best part of this weekend? I mean, obviously seeing friends, but what was really the best part? Was there a specific moment when you guys were out and about, or at homecoming running around? Was there something that really struck a chord with you?
I don't really think it was a moment, more just the feeling of oh, this is still my place. Maybe it's a little bit different because I don't go to school there anymore necessarily, but it's still
it's not your stomping ground.
Yeah,
as such,
but it's still a place that I can call home, and it's it's a shared love.
And you identify with. It feels familiar.
And it was nice knowing that while so much in all of my friends' lives and all of our friends' lives have changed, we can still come together and pick up where we left off. It wasn't
and that's
that crazy.
That's a big thing. And I've mentioned this to you, I think this weekend, that we have 5 other roommates, and I have talked to them on varying levels. Some of them haven't exchanged any words with, whereas Sophie I've talked to the most, and Jenna I've talked to a decent amount. It's just different levels. But even still, just seeing all of them, I was working on Saturday, and then I came home, went to their house late, and just, I guess that was Saturday, Friday and Saturday I did that. And Friday was good, when I walked in, wasn't like when we lived in the senior house. It was obviously different, but it was good to walk in and see everybody light up and just be around. And I think we all really enjoyed that, just the camaraderie. We weren't even talking about anything crazy. We were kind of just updating each other on each other's lives, but it was just really pretty wholesome, I would say.
Yeah.
Very fun, a nostalgia trip. And like I said, it was our first really reunion. It's maybe a good way to describe it.
All 7 of us in the same place.
Yeah, bringing the squad back together, sleeping under the same roof was kind of fun. We were all packed in an Airbnb, but it was good to see the squad.
I agree.
Any other thoughts for the weekend?
I'm old. We've actually graduated. It's not a joke anymore. It's not a prank.
I feel like since I've graduated, my bones have gotten a little weaker. My joints gotten a little creakier. My hair's gotten a little grayer or something. Time is not nice.
It's definitely grown a couple gray hairs.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
Well, this has been a special interview with highly esteemed guest, Sophie Rose McGill.
I do what I can for the people of the podcast.
Yeah, all 12 of them.
Yeah.
Out there.
One of them is me.
Out there grinding, yeah. But back to whatever else I was talking about.
The other segment.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. and Sophie. Appreciate it. But yeah, so this is a really good weekend. Kind of just like a reminder of several things. Feels good. Not much else to say. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Procrastinator Podcast. Spend time with your friends and don't give up on your dreams. That's kind of, in a weird way, the message of this episode, but yeah. I've been your host, Matthew Stein. You have been fantastic as always, and I'm going to get out of here. Bye.